What's up, people? We're here. We're back. We're
Yay.
in France this time
We.
for some Mads, which you'll hear again for the audio and all that other shit. but first of all, how are you two gentlemen doing? Gamer, how are you doing today, man?
I'm chilling. I'm looking for my chat right now. It disappeared on me, but I'm good. Doing all right.
Happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. Trevor, how about you, good sir?
Doing quite well. Cannot complain. Very happy to be here. Um, I was very happy that this movie got picked. It was interesting, and how we ended up watching it, I think made me take certain things from the movie that, yeah. But yeah, doing great. Happy to be here.
Happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. Yeah, it was. This was definitely an interesting movie. This was definitely a very interesting movie. And I'm going to say this to people out there. If you do drugs, I'm not going to tell you not to do drugs because everybody else just tells you that and you're going to do it anyway. Be smart, be safe about it. At the very least, you shouldn't do it, but be smart and be safe about it. Not promoting drug use. But with this movie, the dude like tries a brand new drug, like it just came out yesterday, let's say,
Mhm.
and he's just like, yeah, let me go snort this. And after that, things get crazy. And I do like really. I'll say this before we get into our ratings. I do like how they had it with like the three acts. How like Act One was around Roman, Act Two was around Anise, and Act Three was around Julia. I really like how they kind of broke into that. How you've seen them all together,
Mm.
and then you kind of they each had like their own little piece of the story. They each and I thought it was good. I thought that was good with that. I thought that was good with that.
Mhm.
But before we go any further, let's just jump into our ratings, no reasons, and I will. Gamer, what do you give this one, good sir?
At first, okay, so first I jumped into this like 30 minutes into the movie, right? And
Mhm.
then I was having a little trouble getting into it. And then it hit its stride. And then I was just like locked in. And I didn't want to look away. I kept wanting to read what the hell was going on in the dialogue and everything once shit started hitting the fan. By the end of this, I even loved the ending, how the movie's still going on while the credits going. It kind of
Yeah,
shows like, hey, life doesn't stop. Like shit hit the fan. you in a situation here. I loved how it ended. So I'm
nice.
gonna give this one a solid 7 right now.
7. Professor C, how about you, good sir?
Well, I'm gonna say 6, but I have reasoning behind it that I don't know if it is the case. Um, to call this film derivative would be an understatement. But I enjoyed watching it, and it made me think of a lot of things like shot on video horror films. Yeah, and also how to squeeze. Okay, the shtick behind the film is it was shot in one day. Now, with
Really?
that, think about the cinematography alone and how you'd
Hmm.
save money. So I'm giving it a 6 right now.
Nice, nice. And I do understand that. I'm giving this one a 6.5 as of right now. It could go up. I don't think it'll go down. If it does, not a lot. But 6.5 right now, so I'm like right in the middle of you guys. And like I was saying, it was a very interesting concept and a very interesting premise where it's all wrapped around. Well, I mean, it's pretty much wrapped around a party and drugs and things just like you know how you watch movies and things go wrong at parties and all this other shit. Things really go wrong here. Like this is just unexpectedly wrong. This I didn't know what to expect because I don't watch trailers and for horror movies I don't watch trailers. I'll say. And starting this movie up, I'm like, all right, it's a French horror film. I know there's gonna be some
Mm.
crazy ass shit in it because there always is from the ones that I've seen at least. And I like how with this one though, like it wasn't like I was saying, you know, with how we were saying with the drugs and stuff. How yes, it was about the drugs, but they didn't really focus on that. It was like focusing on everything else going around that, and having I'll say speak myself, having you wondering like what the hell is going on and why, and what is the
Mhm.
connection with this drug? What they call a C39 or something? Or was that referring to something
Well,
else?
I know that the dealer refers to it as that shit.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what that shit is, but I got this and this and this and this. And I know I want, so he's filling him in with a desired street drug of some kind. And I wanted, this movie went in a lot of different directions as far as how you wanted it to end up. Um, I think for me, what I really enjoyed about the movie, and this might be how we viewed it, Sturdy. I
Hmm.
got this, but okay, so we're looking at a film that's made in one day. We're looking at actually people who have talent. The people that were associated with this film have made a lot of films and things like this. It utilizes extremely tight shots for claustrophobia and also utilizes extremely wide shots with minimal things in it and vice versa, and you have long shots, so those are all, number one, make things easier, but number two, part of it is like, one day it just goes continually and continually. That's why I said about being derivative. Yes, it owes a great deal to the French extreme movement, but it owes a lot to Gaspar Noé. And this is where I think it got derivative to the point that it got a little annoying to me, because it had elements of climax in it. It had a lot of elements of irreversible. It had a lot of elements of many other films. Enter the Void, which is about a drug and about,
Hmm.
what happens when, you die of a drug overdose and you just see what's your soul sees. But all these films are, they're there. There are so many horror references,
Mhm.
but the close shots and things of that nature, it made me think of the golden days of a film movement that will continue to grow as, media archaeologists find random videotapes, the shot on video film. And there was an amateurishness about this that it didn't need, that reminded me of shot on video films like Things or Blood Lake or Housegeist or Night Beast by Don Dahmer, the Darkness by Leif Jonker, The Dead Next Door. It's just an endless number of these shot on video films that were literally weekend warriors with two VCRs, and they made things work. And I got that feel, and I was feeding off that, no pun intended, until about, I'd say it felt like 45 minutes I was into
Hmm.
the film. And then I started wondering, how long is this damn thing? And then it picked up and it got really, really exciting. And there's another drug reference at the end when Julia literally looks at her and says, "This is some bad shit."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I seriously do not know what take on this they want. But this was a film that was made to be a mindfuck. And yes, it even references paranormal activity and a lot of other,
Hmm.
super indie things. I did feel that, okay, maybe it's just me, but the like endless shots of people on motorcycles or people driving, or this constant like straightforwardness and this pounding score uh reminded me a great deal of Shigeru Sakamoto's Tetsuo Iron Man. And I just left the film kind of like, yeah, good job, but
Hmm.
your Foley work was so bad. Just that alone, it was purposely bad. These zombies didn't growl or hiss; they were going song. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of my general take.
I want to go back to what you were saying about Julia and how how she made the bad drug reference later on in the
Mhm.
film. The part where they were in the bathroom, where she acts like
Yes.
shit's going on, she's foaming at the mouth and all this stuff, and
Mhm.
she's just playing around. It's crazy, like how that just turns. Maybe as far as when we're watching a movie, maybe 10 minutes later, as far as the story's
Mhm.
going, get a couple hours later, because all this crazy shit happened in one night.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I don't want to, but that scene in itself is a reference to Bad Lieutenant,
Oh,
and also films like Driller Killer, like this overt straight drug use, a lot of
hmm
stuff, in Panic. So sorry to interrupt, but
no,
keep
you're
going,
good. You're
buddy.
good.
Okay, cool. So, but yeah, that was one of the fun things. But it there was a point for me. I think this movie was just a little less than an hour and a half. Was it, Sturdy?
I think it was like an hour and 28 minutes or something like that. Like if that.
Honestly, the film in its total felt like 2.5 hours
It you know what
for
it
me,
you know
and I don't. Yeah, I-
I wonder if it's partly because it wasn't a bad movie. It had some entertaining
mhm,
parts, some fun parts, but I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest flaw for me, well, there wasn't like a really good, concise story.
mhm.
And
Oh yeah, that.
seeing as how like I mean, which there is a movie I would love for you two to watch. When me and James were when Fade was here a couple weeks ago, we did a movie called Grafted, body horror film.
Mm.
Well, it's probably my favorite body horror film. It's up if it's not my
Oh
favorite, it's
wow.
up there. It's up there with like top.
Mm,
It's in the top two. I'll say it was
mhm,
an interesting film, and the story went good with it and all that other stuff. And that's something that really stood. That's what I was getting at. Is like over these past few. I'm not saying every single one, but again, going back to Bring Her Back, going to Ghost Train, Best Wishes to All, and just even more movies. Just like the movies we've been covering this year,
mhm,
a lot of them, not all, but a lot of the ones that we really enjoyed had a really, really, really good story.
mhm.
Like good story, good visuals, great act, all that other stuff. And this, I won't say the acting's bad. I won't even say the visuals are bad, even though it's a dark movie, but I get why. But the story could have been more. They could have gave us more of a story, and I
Mhm.
feel if they give us more of a story between the three characters, that between the three main characters, you can give them a little backstory on them. The whole drug thing, you could give some sort of a backstory on that, or just something with that, and kind of give us a good story to go through with everything that's going on.
Mhm.
Because again, it's the visuals are entertaining. The stuff that they were doing was entertaining to an extent, but it also
Got
I
kind
feel
of
like
old.
it got kind of old because I felt like they were just kind of doing, even though it was different scenes, it kind of feel like it was like the same shit happening over and over and over to the, and it's kind of like, damn, you tie in a story to this, and you could take this shit to another level.
I
You could take
take
this shit to another
28
level.
minutes out, and I know that the people who are involved have been in film for a very, very long time. But
Mhm.
I would say take 28 minutes out, and you have yourself a 10 student film.
Ooh,
I know
10.
that sounds bad, but honestly, I'm going to keep my rating, but I want to go back and
Mhm.
watch this on a larger screen.
Oh, fair, fair.
And see, yeah, but it was enjoyable and it made me think of a lot of things. As I said, shot on video horror films, and how somebody was basically doing that with the equivalent of an iPhone or several, steps up.
Mhm.
And how those movies could have been if they had that kind of technology. So if
True.
that's what they were going for, I think it was successful, except that just was overlong to, as you said, Sturdy, not have a story.
Yeah, and that's probably why, because it felt a little long to me, not too crazy,
Mhm.
but I understand why it felt that long for you because again, there was no story, and we've had conversations before where we're watching a film that's an hour or no, sorry, about 2 hours or a little longer. We're like with Frankenstein, with Dracula, I believe we're both like these could have been longer. Like Dracula could have been
Mhm.
longer, Frankenstein could have been longer. As much as we enjoyed them, I think Dracula we said more so with certain things, and those were 2 hour movies or 2 hours plus, and it's like but they knew what they were doing. They had a
Mhm.
story that really just fucking grabs your attention. And that's something I'm realizing since doing this podcast for one.
Mhm.
It made me more of a horror fan than I ever was, and it made me more of a movie fan than I ever was. Between this one and Popcorn and Pints, I always loved film. Don't get me wrong, just really love. But now it's making me like pay attention to more to like this story could have been so much fucking better. Sometimes I just feel like I get what you're saying with the student film thing. I feel like this was kind of rushed where they had the ideas, they had the visuals, they had this, and this. And then it was like the story. It was like, okay, we don't really have a story. We can kind of just, plug some things in here. People will get what's going on. But I'm like, if you could make a really like focus on that story 1,000,000,000% first, like have your outline, you have your ideas, then wrap a story around that or make that into an awesome story. Everything else can flow because everything else they did well. Everything else they did well. I won't say they did great, but they did very, very well.
Yeah,
it was good, James.
It is a little bit choppy, and I kind of like I was almost the whole time kind of feeling like they were trying to go for this like anthology feel, giving you the three different actions that are going on leading up to that climax. But it did leave me wanting more by the end, and even right now I'm kind of fighting with myself because I'm like, damn, am I just high off of the rise of the ride that I took towards the end and how it ended that I liked it so much that I'm giving it more grace than it deserves? Yes, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't mind seeing more of this story, not necessarily these people. So like I wouldn't mind this even almost being the kickoff to something more, to the full blown patient zero. Because there were even parts
you
when
wanted
she's
something
running at
finite.
the end. There was parts at the end that I like. You said you had all these recollections to other things you've seen. Like it felt Resident Evil to me at one point. Then it felt more ghoulish at another point. Then the camera work kind of gave me these other vibes.
The last shot
with her sitting on the floor and then the thing coming.
What film does that reference?
I don't know which one.
Fight Club.
Really?
The Fight Club. If you look at how it's shot and everything, and the end of the world is out there, and they play Edith Piaf at the end of the song that I'll talk about later.
Okay.
But this film is it's definitely, and this is why I'm giving it the rating I did. It was an attempt to make something really, really fun for like super hardcore, movie geeks, usually from about the 2000s, when their heyday as teenagers were. And as I said, I didn't do the research on this one, but I kind of hope that's what they wanted to do. If not, it's just okay. I'll talk about it now if it's okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that I will say is a positive and a negative about this film is so the score is written by this guy named Nathaniel McAnally, and he's done a crap load of scores, really fairly high-end ones. He is an electronica artist. This particular soundtrack ranged everything from like housey jungle to immense waves of like Merbau's level sound, which like made something that was like be like because there'd be these huge waves of sound in this film, and that was also an element of how do you use contemporary technology to get across constricted and scared and claustrophobic. You use sound. So I was a big fan of his score to this film. I also for a film like this to start with a band, so the Abwarts got together back in 1979 and they did the punk song which is called Computerstadt at the beginning of the film, and they were an anarchist punk band. So in itself, you have that, which is a direct reference to just in itself. It's a classic French punk band, but we end with Edith Piaf, who is a legend, the legend as far as vocalist in France, with a song called "No, I Regret Nothing." Yeah, the use of music in this film is awesome. It's just
You wrap a story around that with the way that they use the music to connect it, like you're saying, with certain scenes and certain parts of the film.
I'm hoping that's what I got out.
And then you have a really good freaking movie. You have you go from because again, it's not a bad movie, it's not a terrible movie. I'll say it's good to okay. I'll say it's good to or okay to good. Sorry, but you can have a really good freaking movie if you wrap a story around this. Because I love.
I honestly wanted to like it more.
Give it a 6. Give it a 6 for me. Bring it down 1 point. Yeah,
I think I'm
7's a little too gracious.
I think I'm gonna bump mine down a half a point. Just I guess we're gonna give it 3 6s tonight
because it's above average, not much. Because again, like the music definitely made me more enthralled by what was going on the screen. I think that's definitely something that, especially for audiences elsewhere other than their home environment and natural audience that they usually get, that's something that really needs to be like made sure they're thinking about when they're doing these processes. Because if you want it to be universal, if you want it to be worldwide, then the people that are trying to focus on the words to understand what's going on besides the action that's happening and that's occurring, like Trevor said, that emotion and invoking has to be coming from somewhere. So it's always the sounds. Even at the end, there's a little chase scene where Julia's running through the building and there's all the white cloth or whatever. And there's some like eerie music playing, but then the other sounds that they're using, which it kind of hit, but it didn't for me. Like I was like, oh, I see what you're doing there, because it made me think, dude, that would be kind of dope. And like if I was in her shoes, it'd definitely be scary, because I've played games where you hear the eerie voices coming from different places. And she's like, Julia, do you see me? And she's taunting her and shit. Now, while all that's going on, I'm trying to focus on reading this while knowing what she's doing on the screen. But I kind of got the feel for the scene because of the atmosphere it gave me from the sound and from the eerie choices they use, and then implementing things at times like the cues for the voice. Not just using the voice, it's also like if you have an eerie sound, then something's coming to it, or then it lulls. When that lull hits and it's calm for that split second, you fucking give somebody something. They do things like that flawlessly.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna sound like a broken fucking record, but again, you wrap a fucking good story around that, and this is a really good movie. This is a really good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then like part of like my high for it and why I initially gave it such a fucking high score initially was, by the end of it, I was like, damn, I can kind of relate to her too. And I bet a lot of people can, because it's like, look at all the fucking crazy weird shit that's occurring out of nowhere. It seems like you were just out to have a good time. Shit just hit the fan. Nobody knows what's going on. And now you're in the middle of all this shit. You got these fucking suited guards or whatever talking to you weird. You don't know if they're kill squad. You don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, she finally reveals herself, takes off her mask, and is like, hey, I was called in here to neutralize anything and anybody that's come into direct contact. So since you still haven't seen anything, or you come into contact, but you're not seeing these symptoms that I just listed, my gun. And then the lady's still there the whole time going, this isn't real, right? This isn't real, right? And it's like, I bet there's a lot of people that watch the news now, get on their feeds, and they can't believe, and they got to take a break, because it's like, I can't believe this is what the fuck is happening right now. Like, we got more to go. Get ready, boys and girls. The show is just getting started. Be right back after these commercials.
Well, also something else that is very interesting and not explored in the film. So this is yet another thing it has going for it and against it. Is it really real, or is it this immense, crazy reaction to what the dealer says is, I don't know what that shit is. You know, you just buy it. Is it really that, or is it actually, making a statement about how, drugs are kind of a way to control the masses? Because by the you assume it's less than 24 hours, and you do hear some weird conversations between the father and the young man. But crap, what was I going to say about that?
Between him and the father, it was kind of weird. It was because it wasn't very fatherly. at all.
Well, there was nothing. So there was nothing finite about exactly whether this was a real thing, this was a drug thing we're
Yeah.
viewing, or is it a dream, or is it whatever. So you could interpret it as many ways as you liked.
Mhm.
Part
It
of me waited
just,
till the end of the credits to see if, while she's sitting there,
yeah,
all of
I
a sudden maybe
almost
something
did.
clicks and the world looks normal and it was a bad trip or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
that's a good question about like with the drug. Is the drug was the drug what caused the infection for them to go mad,
well,
or
well,
was
that's
it or was it
Absol.
or no? I was gonna say was it the drugs or was it?
Ozempic.
You got to remember. You got to remember in the beginning of the movie when Homeboy picked up the chick on the side of the road that killed herself in his car and also like got her blood on him, all this other stuff. She was already infected. Remember when he gets the car home, he goes home, he's freaking out, he takes a shower, and when he goes back in his garage, because he just drove her home.
But she disappears. You notice that?
That's what I was
She
gonna say.
just
When he went back,
disappears.
when he goes back to the garage,
there's no follow through for that character.
well, you do see her again. We do see her again because I remember what happens? He leaves, and I think it's when his dad calls him again when he's at the party. He comes back home.
Well, it's that weird altered states thing.
True.
Sees. Doesn't see her.
Well,
so
the alarm goes off. Doesn't she attack him?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, because the alarm. Remember, because his dad's calling you. The alarm's off. This, that, the third. Someone's in the house. So I'm like, okay, hold up. You mean to tell me, your child, your son's not at the house. The alarm goes off and somebody's in the house. You mean to tell me you're gonna send your son there instead of sending the cops? Like, yo, listen, where you at?
That's a beautiful example of shit that needed to be cut in half. They could have very easily edited it that it seemed like him getting from that party to home would have actually felt that long, but would have not taken that much time.
Yeah, and
it just was like, okay, yes, oh yeah, but that's I think where this movie for me really went wrong is it just kept trying to deliver too much of something. It was very repetitive, down to sounds, down to actions, down to how we're going to film this.
So for the scene,
one of the things that bothered me the most was that it was too straightforward. You weren't getting one perspective, but it almost seemed like you were constantly on a roller coaster that was out of control, and not necessarily in the best way.
Yeah, I don't think it hit the way they wanted it to, because I think that might have been the point to make this feel like a spiraling night. Like there's even moments where she's reacting or whatever. The first chick that when she's running through the park, she takes the dude's moped, throws him over the fucking thing, and then she's out on the street or whatever, and she's rolling around, and the camera does this cool thing, like almost half semicircle, and I thought it was gonna do something else, or she was gonna sit up or something, or she was gonna change her eyes or something, but it was nothing. No close up, no cut, no edit to nothing else, nothing. It's just that whole cool moment, and then it just staying there in the one spot where the cameraman can't walk any further because he'd be walking over her and fucking up the angle in the shot. So it's like, it's like,
so with the party scene, from the party scene to when he goes home, what's his name? Roman, right?
Yes, Roman.
Something like that. Roman.
Yeah.
So
it was spelled Romaine, but it's Roman. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
but
when
I will call him Romaine just for fun.
Hey, listen. When Romaine gets the phone call from his dad, my question to you two is, and I'll answer this too. Do you think that scene would have been better instead of like his dad calling him saying, someone's in the house, the alarm went off? If he has this same shit on his phone, he could look at his phone and then see that woman like walking around, whatever the case may be, walking around the house or doing whatever the hell she was doing. Do you think that would have been better than him like going there and seeing her and then also his dad calling? Or even him just getting alert that the alarm goes
then
off?
Basically says, I can see somebody, and then calls back and then laughs.
Or something.
Yeah, and it doesn't... there is an element of surrealism in this film, too, that I have to appreciate. But I don't know if it was intentional. Um, I'm honestly, I will go back and revisit this because it is only an hour and 28 minutes, and it might seem like 5, but it is only that. And at 50, I can sacrifice that just because I want to see if it hits differently on a larger TV.
I love how Trevor earlier in the episode, it was this movie felt like 2.5 hours. That shit doubled already to 5 hours. But I get it though. Yeah, it's I like the idea. Like I like the idea of the 3 acts with the 3 characters. How like you kind of again you see them together throughout the story, but then they each have like their own important parts. It's just you write those parts better. And it's just like, oh shit! Like it would be cool if there was a way they wrote it, figured it out to where there was a connection somewhere between the drug and this. What do you want to call them? Like a fucking army or whatever the hell it is. This force. If
That's
there's a connection
an
with
interesting
that,
thing.
if like just think about it, like what if they're like, okay, you know what? Just throwing this idea out here for it, right? Okay, we want to kind of get rid of some of these druggies. So let's put this new drug out here that's gonna do this to them. And maybe they didn't think it was gonna do what it did. They thought it was just gonna kind of off them or something, but it did this whole thing where just if the drug is what made them attack and violent and all this other stuff, or maybe that's the reason why they went after them because they're violent. So that's their reason. Okay, now we can go get them or take them out. And kind of like a population control type of deal. Between the drug and that whole because they didn't tell you anything about either really, just people that like the party do drugs, and then you have this kind of army or whatever you want to call them that are just like, okay, these people are infected, we have to take them out. Why do you have to take them out? Why are they infected? Why are you here? Who the fuck are you? And what the fuck is this drug? Like, what's the make some sort of fucking connection with that and boom. Seriously.
Yeah.
You have a fucking story then. I mean, obviously you have to fill more shit out, but then you at least have something that's like, oh, like imagine finding that out at the end. The girl that takes their mask off, the one that gets attacked and ends up shooting the thing, the actually Anise or Elite, whatever, Anise, and say she was acting like she got attacked, say she was acting like she takes herself out, and later on in the film you figure out that if it's not her, it's someone connected to her, but hey, this is, you see her talking. Hey, look, this is how the plan went. Of course, you have more of the story, but this is how the plan went. Fucking drug, this, that, and the third. Where you kind of see connections. You're just like, oh, like I wish this was one of those movies where, like, at the end of the movie, you're just like, holy shit! Like this is this is why this happened, or this is the connection with this, or just something. Again, it was fun with the with the blood and all this other stuff, and. Again, I'm gonna go back to saying the visuals. I'm sorry, people, but I'm gonna keep going back to the visuals. If you haven't seen this movie, go check it out because it is worth at least a one-time watch, maybe 2, but it's worth at least a one-time watch. And when you watch it, come back right here in the comments and let us know how you felt about it because I really want to know.
Well, real quick, I want to say you actually caught on to the 2 things that were kind of keeping this film sticking together, which was the aspect of why did it take so little time to go from street, I think a couple days, to it actually infecting people and people on the street, making that connection. And I wish they would have done more with that. But also the fact that one of the few things this movie has going for it is a 3-act structure. And otherwise, it's just all these random things thrown together. And as I said, I'm gonna have to watch it again because I kind of want to like it, but I don't.
And I mean, shit. And going back to when Gamer was saying, it kind of felt like an anthology at parts. If they would have made this like a legitimate anthology with the story still awesome, connecting,
actually,
that would have been phenomenal because you can have pretty much give each character a half hour, more or less 20 minutes if it's and then you have the last half hour where everything kind of connects and combines and all this other shit. And then you have something because they gave them each their own little parts for a decent amount of the movie. So it's like you break that up into an anthology. You have Act 1 with Roman, you have Act 2 with whatever with Anise, and you have Act 3 with Julia. Or call it whatever you want to call it. Call it, you can give it a different title than that, Act 1, 2, and 3, but just kind of break it up and just focus on one character at a time, focus on their story, then the next story, then the next story, and then boom, you have the climax. You have the end where everything connects, the last half hour of the film, and you're just like, oh shit. Oh my good. That was fucking because this is one of those films where I'll never tell anybody not to watch a film, even films I hate like Blood Lake. Those are like watch at your own risk. I feel like this is way better than watch at your own risk. Of course, it's because, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend. Like, it wouldn't be on Sturdy's recommendation list. Like, this wouldn't be it. Grafted, hell the fuck yes. This, check it out. But Grafted, I'm like, yo, go fucking watch that as soon as you can. But make sure this episode's over first.
I'm still upset that Mads Mikkelsen was not in this film, to be honest. That's what I was really hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, Mads Mikkelsen in this movie. Oh shit!
Is that the soccer player, the blonde dude?
Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
The High Rising.
Gotcha.
Great, I love him.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
what are some other things you guys liked or disliked about this movie?
That's really it. I'm just really super excited that it ended the way it did because it left me wanting more, and I really enjoyed like her having a mental breakdown. I don't know why, but I just felt like, yeah, it's like, bitch, when you gonna come to terms with all of this shit just happened? Like, it just happened. You were just handed a rifle. This lady just shot herself behind you. And this whole time for the last like hour or two, you've been running, and with your homegirl being nuts and all over you and shit, you're just like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. At some point, after like 10, 20 minutes of that, you gotta realize it's fucking happening. And whatever happens next is gonna happen. Like she even threw the gun off to the side. That's why I seriously waited to the end of the credits, just watching as it rolled and the scene was still there. She threw the gun to the side. She's freaking out. She's just shit's going on in the background, and I was waiting because I was kind of like, is this just a bad trip? She really dreaming? Is that why they keep alluding to like this can't be real? This can't be real. No, it never came because it was real for her, for them.
What's good, Amelia White? How you doing? We're doing pretty good. I'm kind of chilling, talking about a movie called Mads, horror podcast over here. So thank you for subscribing. I greatly appreciate that. Also, come check it out, Certo Vision on YouTube as well. A lot of cool shit on there. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about this movie either, and I want to, but they didn't give us a fucking story to discuss and really break it down. So it's just like we're just basically talking about what we saw and what we heard, but with no, you know what I mean, with no story in it. I've heard fucking 4-minute songs with a better story than this movie. But again,
I'm really hoping that there's a message there somewhere in the film. Because that's one of the things, emulating the style of classic French extreme horror. French extreme horror was very political, and France has quite a history of revolutions and issues with potential occupations, and there's a lot of meat there that the extremists in the 90s and the 2000s did, and I kind of want to give this movie that credit too, but I'm just not sure. There's so many elements that are carbon copies, and then there are elements of, okay, so a good example, when Julia and the other lady are on the motorcycle and they're screaming and yelling and holding each other, and the fact that Julia is like, hey, this is fine, this is great, and they're screaming and group screaming, and it's just like, it's like taking the most intense version of Holy Motors and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
Yeah.
one of the things this movie did not do well, or I think even tried, was trying to develop suspense through an element of silence that didn't like smash you in the face with like this electronica noise wall. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. It's entertainment to someone.
Yeah, again, it was.
I don't know if it was to me yet either. So jury's out.
I was I would say I was entertained and I was interested. It was an interesting movie, but that's as far as it got. It wasn't something that was just like, oh my goodness, this was yo, listen, let me text the group chat, yo, you listen, what are you doing now? Tell your kids to go to bed. Watch this fucking movie. It wasn't one of those. And I wish it was. Like I really wish it was. That's one thing that I'm really hoping for with film, let's just say starting from today and moving forward, that no matter how great the visuals are, no matter how great the acting is and all that other stuff, that fucking story has to be phenomenal in my opinion. Like it should be. I mean, at least good to great. But like okay, halfway decent. No disrespect, but it almost feels lazy. I'm not talking about the ones that that don't have the talent to do it, that are kind of working their way up. But if you have the talent to do it, even if you don't, take your time. Take your fucking time. Spend the most. I'm not a fucking filmmaker at all. Spend a lot of time creating that story. Spend a lot of time creating that story, really writing it out. And then on top of that, I'll say if you're the one who's writing the movie, writing the story, hand it over to somebody else to have them look it over. Take that critique seriously. Don't be all offended and butthurt. Take that critique seriously, and maybe give it to a couple people to check out that are writers, but that can write films, understand the story structure and all that other good stuff, and can kind of help you through this. Because as movie watchers, we deserve good movies. You're watching these movies for say like an hour and a half or 3 hours, 4 hours. That's time. That's time. Time is precious. So make that movie precious. Not the movie precious, but you know what I'm saying.
With that precious film, I'm going to say, although with a warning, because it is a quite triggering film, if you
Yes.
want to see a film that really feels like this film, because this film just blatantly steals from it in many ways, but does go over an evening, like a 12-hour span. No, it's actually 24, pardon me, a 24-hour span. It was by Gaspar Noé, Monica Bellucci, Vincent Cassel, Irreversible, famous for its exceedingly long assault scene. But that film is paced in a way, and it's written in a way that there are two versions. After, like for the 20th, Noé reworked his editing that it literally flipped it around, and it still was a great story that hit totally differently. So it's emulating a film that it's like a Cadillac of cinema, in my opinion. It's just like it's like grabbing at too many great influences and then having it all kind of go boom.
Boom. Boom. This movie wasn't a home run for you baseball fans. Might have been a single. I'll say it was a single. Maybe a double, but definitely a single. If you want to use baseball terms. If it was basketball, a free throw or a good pass. Football, you got like a 5 yard gain on 1st and 10. It wasn't a first down. It wasn't a slam dunk. It wasn't a touchdown. Far from that. It wasn't even a field goal. It just, oh man. I don't want to talk too much shit about it because I don't want to lower my score. Because again, it wasn't bad, but the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like,
you want to give this film sympathy. That's the weird thing about it.
And going back to what you were saying, Trevor, and even you, Gamer, to an extent, I wanted to really, 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 really like this movie but it was like I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it. I had fun with it, yes, but I want more than that. You know what I mean? It's like a relationship. It's like you have the fun when you're young, but it's like, no, I want more than that now. You know, you want to kind of settle down and just really be not well, this is the movie, you're comfortable with the movie, but you know what I mean? Like really like look at this. Like it's like, look, you're in love. You could tell the world. But with this movie, it's like, yo, if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't. You know? And hopefully next week's movie, which we are going all the way to the Netherlands.
Ooh.
Yes. For another, now this is gonna be, I'm not saying it's gonna be a great film, but it's gonna be some more crazy shit by the look of the cover. Let me go grab it real quick for y'all. And I don't think I've ever seen a movie from the Netherlands that I can think of, so I'm kind of excited for this one. Let's hope it doesn't disappoint, make me upset, and all that good stuff. But the movie is called Meat Kills, and I know it's gonna be another wild, crazy ass movie. Let's hope it at least has a better story than this one. I'm not saying it's gonna be a phenomenal story. I'm not saying that at all. But let's hope it's better.
Screams of 1990s exploitation VHS video cover.
Yes.
That's not necessarily a good thing. It could be a good thing, but not necessarily.
True. But there's another movie cover, which I'll show you guys after the show's over, to where if this movie was out VHS back in the day, you would grab it just by the. You guys remember, you just grab movies by the covers at times. This would have been one of those, maybe not from this cover that I just showed, but the other
This would have been one from the a box of some guy who was vending at a convention that, like, he had to know you were cool, and then he pulled the box out.
Yep.
Like, here, this one's from Japan. That's what this cover looks like.
I'm watching it though.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
You dig it out that box. Hey, listen, how much is it to buy? $5? Yeah, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I spent $5 on bullshit a lot of times in life. I'm not, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. But we are going to wrap this one up, people. Thank you for watching and listening and all that great stuff. But before we go, Gamer, do you want to tell the lovely people where they can find you?
Pretty much worst damn gamer ever, everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, definitely TikTok, but I'm trying to grow the Facebook. So if you guys can give me a follow, that's cool. I'm one of those people. You got to use the tools. So you got to hit the notification bell because I'm kind of random with when I go live. I have a schedule, but that doesn't mean anything. So hit the notification bell so that when I'm live, you see it and then you can come chill.
I have a schedule, that doesn't mean anything. And how about you, Trevor?
A couple things randomly. I think I was able to finally get the correct chords for my setup that I need.
Nice.
So just I'm still trying to figure out what projects I really want to do, what I can, and if it's feasible to do a couple and just spread them out as far as how they're distributed. So we'll see. But no, something will come. It's just at some point.
I get it. This Saturday on Popcorn and Pints, we are going to be reviewing the films Stand By Me and The Long Walk.
Intriguing mixture.
Yes. We're doing Stephen King films.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Stephen King films over there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. As far as the discussion, the movies aren't like there's no laughing in either one of these movies really. Maybe Stand By Me at some points. Actually, both of them there's probably some points we could laugh at, but once it gets to the shit, especially with The Long Walk, woo, you're in for a treat. And if you haven't seen those films, you haven't seen The Long Walk, that's one film I think you should definitely see. That's one of the best movies that came out last year, in my opinion. And we're gonna be discussing both of those films this Saturday, which you'll be able to watch actually right here on Horror with Sir 30, because I do this whole crossover thing with Horror with Sir 30 and Popcorn and Pints. We're doing the Stephen King films, and we do them. You'll be able to see them right here as well as over there in Popcorn and Pints. And then again, that is at 7:00 Eastern Time Saturday. And again, don't forget, have that boarding pass for next Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern time from Paris, which we are now, to Amsterdam for Meet Kills. I heard you do a lot of fun shit in Amsterdam, so hop on that flight and join us and watch the film
Hostel
first.
took place in Amsterdam, didn't it?
I'm not sure.
Or someplace very close. Because
not sure.
that's what this movie's feeling kind
Probably.
I just always think
torture
of Euro
porn.
Trip.
Yeah.
But yes, check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Be here next Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And with that being said, I'll see you in your nightmare.